Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to the Netball Europe World Cup qualifiers coming live from the University of the Highlands and Islands in beautiful Perth. It may be cold outside, but I can assure you it is getting very hot in here. The second match of this tournament sees Northern Ireland take on a very disappointed Wales. It's a must-win encounter for them today if Wales are to keep their hopes of Netball World Cup dreams alive. Yesterday's match saw the Scottish Thistles close out a very hard-fought match against Wales, 52-40. That means Wales totally under pressure. They've got to take this game if they're to stay in the contention for a place to Liverpool. We caught up yesterday after the game with Claire Brownie, the Thistles captain, to hear her thoughts on the match. Claire, well done on that game. What a tremendous first win for Scottish Thistles. What were your thoughts on the final outcome?
Well, we're absolutely delighted with the outcome. To win by 12 goals in what was such a tight game, I don't think the scoreline told the story at all. So delighted, it was a full team effort. The support from our crowd was insane. So thanks for everyone, and yeah, need to rest up and get ready for Sunday.
When you look back to Cardiff in October, there was a 9-goal difference between you and Wales. So when the teams came out tonight, it looked like that was going to be completely the opposite in terms of being so close. What do you think was that defining moment in that game?
It's funny, we won by 9 goals last time, but it was a similar game in terms of it was very, very close first few quarters. One team would go up, the other team would come back, and there was never really a secure winner. And we knew it was probably going to be the same today. It was going to be a grind for the full 60, but we had that belief that, similar to last time, all our pressure that's been mounting up for 45, 50 minutes was going to count in that last 10 minutes, and we were going to take it away. So I think it was belief that we carried through allowed us to open it up to 12 goal. And you made a number of changes on the court. Some of you stayed on for the whole game. I think if you looked at the fact that netball's a whole team sport, the team performance was brilliant, but would you pick out any one or two of your players to say they played particularly well today? Well, I definitely think it was a whole team effort, and the girls that came off the bench really impacted really, really quickly, and they settled, and it just allowed us to change the momentum slightly. I think our young guns really stepped up. Bethan Goodwin had a really solid game, especially towards the finish. She was just sinking those goals for fun. So lots of stars out there. I really wouldn't want to name anyone in particular.
And of course, you've got a day off tomorrow, and then back to play Northern Ireland on Sunday. If that goes according to plan, might be on the way to the World Netball Cup in Liverpool next year. What does that mean to Scotland?
Oh, the World Cup, it's one of the pinnacles for netball in terms of internationally. So we'll be delighted and so proud to represent Scotland, wear our dresses with pride and take on the best athletes in the world. So it would mean everything. I've been there when we've not been there, and I've been there when we have qualified. So we're definitely aiming to qualify and get 2 from 2.
And of course it's emotional for all of you this weekend because one of the 3 teams won't go. So hard work in terms of getting here, I know. One more match to go, and then on to the Gold Coast in Brisbane, Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, it's a busy 2018, so we've got this, and this is purely our focus just now, even though Commonwealth Games is just around the corner, but really this is so important for us to get that qualification to set up our future in netball in Scotland for the next 4 years. So it's a crucial event, and we're just going to take it one day at a time, watch the game tomorrow, reflect, and then come back fresh and fighting.
Well, just want to say congratulations to you and Scotland, and we look forward to seeing you on Sunday.
Thanks, Lynn. Thank you.
So we heard there from the winning captain yesterday from Scotland, Claire Brownie. And of course there are 3 teams competing here this weekend, Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales, for only 2 places at the most prestigious event in world netball. Happens only every 4 years and will be held in 2019 in Liverpool, only around the corner. And what a competition that's going to be. There is massive to play for this weekend for these 2 teams. I'm Lynn Carpenter, and joining me today in the commentary box is Jerry Maguire, Head of Development at Netball Scotland. Jerry, welcome.
Thanks, Lynn.
So I'm sure you've caught your breath after the game yesterday between Wales and Scotland.
Just about. It was a game and a half, certainly.
And some real kind of key moments in that game. What would you kind of sum up what happened on the court that we saw?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly was a feast of netball for the neutral. No one could have called the outcome of the game. Even going into the last quarter, it was certainly only in the last 8 minutes I think that Scotland pulled through. We had pivotal moments. We did see Nia Jones being sent to the bench, and that certainly, changed the game up. It certainly something we don't see very often in netball, and I don't think Scotland capitalised enough when that did happen. We saw Wales take the first 2 centre passes, but yeah, it certainly changed the game.
And as you can see on the screen, the Northern Ireland 12 are showing, but I can tell you they're starting 7 for Northern Ireland. Up at goalkeeper, we see Gemma Lawler. Goal defence, Finola Toner. Wing defence, Neve Cooper. In at centre, their captain Carolina Hanlon. Wing attack, Michelle Drain. Goal attack, Kyla Bowman. And goal shooter, Nolene Lennon. And then, Jerry, if we look at the Welsh 12, we saw there was an injury yesterday to Bethan Dyke. She's not taking the court. I think we understand she has an injured quad, so probably won't feature in this game, but we'll wait to see. In at goalkeeper for Wales, Kelly Morgan. Goal defence, Nia Jones, we're just talking about. Claire Jones in wing defence. Kyra Jones, centre. Wing attack, their captain, Susie Drain. Goal attack, Sarah Llewellyn. And in it, goal shooter, Georgia Rowe. So who do you think are going to be the pivotal players in this game today, Jerry?
Oh, it's going to be a tough one to call again, but there are key players in both squads here. We see the highly experienced Northern Ireland team, many of whom were at Commonwealth Games Glasgow, so a really established unit. Carolina Hanlon leads that squad by example, a fantastic ambassador for sport, great captain. Welsh team strong, lots of experience. It's the squad who finished the game last night, starting today. Georgia Rowe was outstanding. She really played against 2 world-class defenders, held her own, put up some great shots. So yeah, if they get the ball to Georgia, she's on fire at the moment.
And of course, we should talk about the player who's not here for Northern Ireland, who we know is absolutely critical to them, Lisa Bowman.
Yeah.
Player of the tournament at the Netball Europe Open in October.
Yep, she was indeed. She's a fantastic player for Northern Ireland, really experienced, was great to watch in October. She will be missed. She certainly is a key player for them, and it's disappointing she's not here, but they've got strength in that bench, and they'll take the game to Wales here.
And just reminding ourselves what happened back in October, this was another cliffhanger game between these two sides. There was only 1 goal separated them after an hour of netball.
There was indeed, and I wouldn't be surprised if we go the same. I know the benches have been working out every scenario, extra time, extra time. For the 3 games over the weekend, these teams are all that close, it could happen.
And of course, remember, if you're watching at home, you're very welcome. Hope you're tuning in here in sunny Perth in Scotland. If you'd like to give us your views on what's happening, you can use our hashtag NENWCQ. Give us a shout, and Jerry and I will try to give you a mention here. Players just waiting for the umpires to count down the time to the start of the game at 3 o'clock. As you can see, our umpires for the game here today, Ian Fuller, Gemma Colton and Kate Stephen, and we are off.
Yeah, and we saw yesterday in the game, Lynn, it took a long time for the first goal to be scored, so I think Wales will be looking to come out of the block and sink this first goal and a lot quicker, and lovely to see Llewellyn putting an early shot up as the goal attack today.
Yeah, I think we had 4 goals in the first 5 minutes yesterday, so it took a while for the two teams to settle. So Nia Jones, controversial, sending to the bench, but had a great game.
Yeah, she certainly won quite a lot of ball against Lindsay Gallagher, who's an experienced player for Scotland. She's really fast feet. She was coming round and winning a lot of ball, but just a little over exuberant at times, and certainly, we saw the warnings progress and are taken to bench.
So 1-1 in this second day of the 3-day weekend here in Scotland. Good pressure there by Northern Ireland team. Second goal for Wales, 2-1. Steady play in there between Llewellyn and Georgia Rowe.
Yeah, we saw a lot of offloading of the ball from Llewellyn to Rowe yesterday, and that's fully understandable with the height of Rowe, but it's nice to see Llewellyn having the confidence to put the shots up as well. She's a really good mover and nice to put the shot through. And a held ball called there against Wales. It was really full on pressure from all the Northern Ireland players.
We see Lennon in there for Northern Ireland at goal shooter. We know we've seen her down both ends of the court in many competitions recently.
Yeah, and she's very effective in both ends, Lynn. You know, she certainly, for a traditional goalkeeper, she has put the shots up well. I've just jinxed her. It's her first shot.
There we have 2-all. Wales centre pass. Both teams starting this quarter with a little bit of confidence, good flow on the court.
Yeah, and that's what they were looking for. That was just a nice 1-2 and in, finished off with a goal by Georgia Rowe.
As we can see, the umpires for today's game, Gemma Carlton and Kate Stevenson. Nice little interplay there. So nothing between these two teams, which is what we'd be expecting to see this early in this game.
That's exactly what we'd expect.
Great vision by Llewellyn there, good pop by Rowe, creating space in the circle. Wales 4, Northern Ireland 3. Still early stages, only 4 minutes into this game.
Yeah, with good pressure in the centre pass there from the Welsh defence. They came over a really good block in the line, and Northern Ireland having to play the ball back initially.
Oh, good hands by Morgan. Bit of early nose there, perhaps.
Yeah, and it was interesting just to see the Welsh defence doing the double tag team jump there, just to, you know, put the Lennon off the shot, but she's had a second attempt to put it through.
And as we know, very experienced, 90 caps to her name for Northern Ireland.
Yeah, huge experience. It's great to have that on your side.
That's a great choice ball there. Llewellyn driving hard in the centre, creating that space under the post for Rowe. Just coming into the last 5 minutes of this first game. Wales slender lead by 1, 5-4.
Lennon's really holding the front space very strongly there with a really experienced Kelly Morgan. I'm sure she'll be looking to take some of that front ball off her in future.
Good pressure there, Northern Ireland. Ooh, missed the fact that Rowe was free there under the post.
Good work, Jenna Lawler, taking the back ball there. It's not an easy skill to master, but well done.
Good hands by Lennon there. So Wales finished the game last night. It was a late match, on again today.
Yeah, it's a quick turnaround, quick recovery, but there'll be a very experienced support team behind the Welsh team to get them ready for today. They'll be fueled up, lots of fluids in them, and really good recovery.
So 6-5, Wales leading Northern Ireland, going more or less on centre pass at the moment. Another good ball. We talked a lot yesterday. That's great interception by Bowman.
That's a trademark drive by Caroline Hanlon, the speed of transition from defence to attack.
We talked yesterday about one of the three teams here. All teams ranked 11th in the world or higher. Some of the best teams that are competing. We know that one of the three won't go.
Yes.
Which is tough for any of them.
Very tough.
And of course we know from some of the other regions that aren't quite as strong as us that, for example, one of them will have World Cup qualifiers playing from 19th to 24th in the world, who will end up with 2 of those 3 at the World Championships. What's your thoughts?
Where do I begin? Yeah, it's a system that needs reviewed quickly. It is what it is for this time, but it's highly disappointing. You know, as a region, we are so strong. These 3 teams, the progression has been phenomenal over the past few years. They're now able to really push on for England. It's great for England to have 3 other home nations, you know, coming up the world rankings. Highly disappointing someone's going to miss out. The 3 teams deserve to be there, in my opinion.
And surely wouldn't we argue that performance is performance and the best should be at the pinnacle competition?
I would like to see that, yeah, and certainly, you know, when we go to Com Games, the top 12 in the world go there. So yeah, it would be really nice to get the review done, you know, everyone to have their opinion on it. I'm sure there are various opinions around the world, but certainly I think people tuning in to see a world competition want to see the best games in the world.
So we will see who of these 2 teams may be booking their place to Liverpool. Northern Ireland had the turnover on the last centre pass, so take a narrow lead, 8-6, and we're into the second half of this first quarter here in Scotland. Very good shot, confident shot by Lennon. Northern Ireland centre pass, and we saw some critical moments in the game yesterday where we didn't really see much between the 2 teams. Got to 3, possibly 4. Now Northern Ireland could be pushing up to that figure.
Yeah, I think it was unusual yesterday. There was both teams had the opportunity on several occasions to go. They had the 3-goal lead and should have been pushing through to a 4-5 goal lead, and all credit to the team on the defence, they brought it back. But yeah, it was unusual not to see someone earlier in the game taking that lead and stretching it out.
So here we go, 10 Northern Ireland, Wales 6 at this moment. This is going to be critical for Wales. Having suffered the loss against Scotland last night, they know they've got to take this game to stay in contention.
Yeah, it's huge pressure for Wales today. You know, all 3 teams have come here to win both games over this weekend, but you know, the Welsh, they have no option today. They have to come out with a winner. Unfortunately, tonight that's the end of the World Cup campaign. Really clever positioning there by Nolan Lennon. A great feed in from Drain.
So 5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Wales centre pass. They'll be looking to close the gap here. Good hands by Lawler.
Good composure by Llewellyn there just to place the ball back to the transverse line, but no error there.
That's great transition down the court by Northern Ireland side. There we go, 5-goal gap now. Northern Ireland lead Wales 12 goals to 7. If you are tuning in from wherever you might be in the world, remember to use our hashtag NENWCK. Okay, can't say it. Q, and send us your thoughts on the match, what you're seeing. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to tell people what you're thinking about the match.
Oh, it's a lovely shot from Llewellyn. It was critical to get that goal in. Northern Ireland were taking quite a substantial lead out in the game there.
So Northern Ireland just at the more composed side at this moment in time.
Yeah, they're very fluid and they understand each other very, very well. They have played quite some amount of netball over the last few years together. Highly experienced.
Fortunate off the back line. They were out in Singapore, I think, recently.
Yes, I think they might have been. I'm not too sure on that one then.
So looking to get the ball in, giving themselves options. Unfortunately, their Bowman just couldn't keep that on the court.
Yeah, an opportunity for Wales to pull one back here.
So Susie Drain for Wales had a really good game yesterday in the captain role.
Yeah, very impressed by Drain. She's a really intense player, very clean, very, very fit, lovely player to watch.
So that pulls the score back to Northern Ireland leading Wales by 5. Still 2.5 minutes on the clock in this first quarter. And that's back to 6. So
great shutdown in the centre pass line there.
That's unfortunate. It's 2 goals attacks now where we've seen a little bit of a misunderstanding between the Welsh attack.
Yeah, I think they're trying to play the ball over that defensive wall of Northern Ireland, but the placement has to be perfection. You can see the experience of Lennon there. She just knows how to turn on a penny line just to get to hold that position. She's turning Morgan at the moment very easily.
So good pressure by the Wales pair there, Morgan and Jones. With 1:20 on the clock, plenty of time for Wales to pull one back. (16-10) now. Northern Ireland lead Wales. Wales are going to want to narrow that gap as much as possible going into this first quarter. But
just a little ambitious there. I think Rowe had thought she had the space, but great close down by Lawler forced the error.
See the whole Northern Ireland. Oh, there we go. Same down the other end. Good pressure again, right at the...
Really good pressure.
Forcing that overhead, but Morgan was there for it. Last few seconds of this first quarter here.
Wales will be really keen to take this through and convert the goal.
Oh. I think Llewellyn got pulled for being out of court. The players are struggling to... Rowe gets the penalty. Northern Ireland might be disappointed with that. There we go, the end of the quarter. Northern Ireland take a lead going into the second quarter here. 16 goals to Wales 9, so 5-goal gap, quite significant at this stage in the quarter. We're going to see the cameras get into the Northern Ireland camp, so let's listen in and see what the coach for Northern Ireland is saying to her team.
Of options, right? Okay, we need to now double our lead here. Okay, so we're currently 5 up, and we will. We are taking centre passes to shot, we are taking turnovers to shot. We must maintain. On the odd occasion, they're getting maybe 2 centre passes in a row, which aren't as intently marked as previous ones. Normally, when you go up on the centre, right, get on the line and stop it there. Okay?
Guys, watch the overload there. It's Nia coming. when they're overloading me as Susie's calling the centre back.
And quite often when we have a lot covered, Kyra's outlet, right? So we need her covered, okay? And Gert, it's very good, it's very positive. Calm. Just keep it, as we've been doing, keep it calm. When you play deep, you have so much space and she can't get you. Is that okay? Yeah, we have, okay? Do what we're doing. Still want you all a bit tighter. Yeah, is that okay? Because I need you that bit tighter, okay?
And if I don't come around the line, so I might give you the space.
When we wait for something, right?
So as we move towards the start of the second quarter here, you could hear the advice the coach and team from Northern Ireland was giving to the players there. Probably not that much of a surprise really, or the need to keep giving those 2 double leads that they were doing, keeping space on the court, really important around the centre pass. Joe, I think probably things we would agree with.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and I like the fact she's saying, keep calm, keep the head. They've done that very well, and it's just not getting caught up in the emotion and the intensity of this game. I think Northern Ireland have started exceptionally well under the circumstances, and really good to see how composed they are in the ball. I think their attack in particular are winning the game at the moment.
So at this stage in the game, any changes you'd expect to see?
I'm not expecting anything from Northern Ireland. I think Trish Wilcox will let that settle, potentially. But I do think Lennon's got the better of playing that circle, so then potentially a change coming in to the defensive circle for Wales just to tighten it up. Lennon is turning Morgan pretty well.
Okay, so here we go. Teams coming back out to start the second quarter. Did you agree with the feedback from the Northern Ireland coach? We can all be coaches ourselves when we're sitting far enough away in this position. Let us know what you thought. Lots of people tuning in, wishing the teams good luck. Cam Wright, you're very welcome to be with us today. I hope you're enjoying the game. Very much cheering your team Northern Ireland on. But equally, loads of people from Wales supporting. Here we go. 5-goal game. Northern Ireland first centre pass. And as you can see, those beady-eyed players on the court, we've had a couple of changes. Out here we see Fern Davis coming on at goal defence for Wales. Nia Jones has gone out to wing defence. Good rebound there by Morgan. Bowman immediately picked it up. Scores well, so 17 score for Northern Ireland. Surprising change for Wales there, Jerry?
Not overly. I think something needed to change. A 5 gap in that first quarter is quite substantial, as you said, Len, and they have to stop that progressing now. So yeah, certainly they want to make the Irish think again. They've got to change the game. They've got fresh blood on there, players that play slightly differently. Putting Nia Jones out in the wing will be, and the intensity will come from her out there. So yeah, not overly surprised.
So Jones doing what she did really well yesterday, getting her hands in, disrupting the flow of play for her opponents.
Lucky there,
Kyra Jones making her acquaintance with the umpire felt. Good reaction by Morgan, but couldn't quite keep it on the court. Already it's just that little bit more difficult for the Northern Ireland team to get the ball into their shooters.
Yeah, they're having to play this ball about quite a bit, but Elaine Rice's advice was keep it calm. She'll be hoping that's what they do, but good turnover ball here for Wales.
So off the Northern Ireland centre, they'll be wanting to close out the turnover. It's great forcing the ball down the court. Northern Ireland not giving Wales any opportunity or any shorter ball.
Yeah, it's a huge strength in the Northern Ireland game. That full-on court pressure and defence. They do it very, very well.
Footwork call there, I think.
A good strong take under pressure from Georgia Rowe.
And there we go, back down to 4. It's how quickly it can change in netball with the Welsh centre pass. Somebody we know very well, Natalie Pepperell, coach of the under-21s at Wales, tuning in on the edge of her seat, I think, on this one.
She is. Hi, Natalie.
Also have the chairman of Northern Ireland, Jeff Wilson, tuning in. Jeff, you should be here enjoying the game with us.
Oh, and that's an unusual miss from Georgia Rowe.
Oh, unlucky. Hanlon was just outside the court. Jones looking immediately in there.
Nearly got them in the held ball there.
Good hands by Lawler. There's a height difference there, but her
experience is putting the pressure on.
There we go. 17 Northern Ireland now, Wales on 14. So they pulled one back off Northern Ireland centre pass. It's going to be important Northern Ireland get this one in.
Yeah, and another error, I think, might have been out of court, so exactly the start that Trish Wilcox would have been looking for from her squad.
We haven't seen too many unforced errors in this game so far.
No, we're in a little scrappy bit of play here. That's unusual. We had a very good quality first quarter from both squads.
Good goal by Lennon. 4 goes, Northern Ireland lead Wales. First 5 minutes of this second quarter now gone. Clever ball there by Kyra Jones, finding Rowe under the post. Keeping the pressure on.
That's a lovely feed.
Bowman made a really strong, positive run into the circle there. 19-15 the score. Great fast hands by Llewellyn. Both teams now finding both ends of the court.
You can see the Welsh team, the pressure they're trying to put on Nolene Lennon in that circle, but she stood strong.
Already been to a few major championships herself, Nolene Lennon. As we know, she'll be wanting to have the opportunity should she be selected for next year. Played at all levels. Also the Performance Pathway Officer for Netball Northern Ireland. So Rowe down the other end. 3 goals, Northern Ireland 20, Wales 17. In a strange way, it almost feels quite calm out there at the moment from both teams. They are doing exactly what Elaine Rice said to them, certainly from Northern Ireland, keeping it calm.
I think come the second half we might see a ramp up in intensity.
And it's great to see such a full crowd here again today, Jerry, even though the host nation, Scottish Thistles, aren't playing. Local support's turned out to really cheer on both teams.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Obviously both sets have some travelling supporters and it's great to host them here in this lovely city. But we've got some lovely local clubs, junior clubs and school children here today cheering on both the teams, and it's great for them to see this quality of netball in front of their eyes.
Great transition down the court. And that takes us back to 5. Almost halfway through this quarter. Ooh. Just a little bit too ambitious there.
Yeah, just needed to take their time and look for another option. That's certainly long ball going in there is not going to work. The height of Kelly Morgan, the experience.
Well and deep. Oh, great vision down the court, seeing Rowe there. Oh.
She'll be disappointed with that one.
Wales making Northern Ireland work for every ball.
That's a couple of times Lennon's been called for that. I think she's deemed to be backing into her player or feeling for her player, and you're just not allowed to do that.
She'll have to react to the umpire's whistle there. Meanwhile, down the other end, good hold by Rowe.
And that's a great shot. Long shot for Rowe, actually, and it's good to put the next one. After a miss, you want to put the next one through the net, so good job, Rowe.
So Wales centre pass, 7 minutes on the clock. But Hanlon wins the battle with Jones on that one. See Cara Jones shaking her head.
She wasn't happy with that call.
Oh. Offside there in the centre. Good goal by Lennon again. Always amazes me how the two benches look so calm in
Very
situations
calm.
like
Yeah.
this.
All credit to them.
Of course, it's great to be able to bring the netball here to you all, where you may be watching. Thanks again to our friends at the International Netball Federation for their financial support to make live streaming help. Really appreciate that.
That was a good decision by Llewellyn. Rowe was signalling on the hold, but I think the Irish defenders had it covered, so great swing, drive in.
As we can see, Northern Ireland 24, Wales 19. We've got our friends in Gibraltar joining in. Moira Gomez, president of Gibraltar, obviously torn herself away from the first aid course they're doing down there at this moment.
Our lovely buddies in Gibraltar.
Of course, they're your buddies, aren't they,
Yeah,
for Scotland?
Netball Scotland's buddies.
You can see there the group table of how, after one game yesterday, the group stands. It really does depend on what happens in this game.
Absolutely, yeah, and certainly that's a good goal difference that was put in the board yesterday by Scotland. You know, that intensity at the end took out to a 12-goal win, so that's a good point to have on the board. But yeah, it all depends what happens here today.
It's a great, strong front cut by Lennon. 6 goals game. Unlucky for Rowe there, couldn't quite hold it. So coming down to 4 minutes remaining before we hit half time.
Nia Jones almost got her hands to that ball.
One too many ins and outs perhaps there.
Classic case, yeah, too many passes.
Pressure all the way down the court by Northern Ireland.
It's good work by Cara Jones. She's really leading by example in the centre position there. She's almost taken every second ball, bringing that ball through court for Wales.
That's a great ball then to Rowe. Fast hands again by Llewellyn.
I think that's a great strength Llewellyn has. She's got fabulous vision, really quick hands, quick release of the ball, and very difficult for defenders to pick that popped ball off.
So we're seeing that gap keep being pegged to 5 at this moment in time. Great pressure by Jones. She wins the turnover, the ball came off her Hanlon. See, every ball's been contested out there today.
Yeah, it's something we spoke about yesterday, and it's fantastic to see that. You know, every single ball, there's no easy ball in netball anymore. We've got 60 minutes of intense pressure by all these players.
And as you saw there, great interception by Hanlon. Just under 3 to go here. Bowman. 6 in it. Northern Ireland lead Wales. This moment in time.
Lawler called for the contact there, so a free shot for Georgia Rowe.
She makes no mistake that time. Just seen a tweet which made me smile. Jeffrey Williams watching Ireland v Wales on his laptop, but Saracens v Northampton on Twitter. I'm pretty sure we'd all agree which is the most enthralling game, Jeff. It's happening up here in Scotland at the moment. So 6 goals in it, just under 2 minutes to go. Force ball down the court there. Yep, Georgia Rowe just indicating keep it calm.
Yeah, you saw Georgia, she actually wasn't looking for that ball. You know, Fern Davis should have just taken a bit of time on it, played a square ball, played it back, just to let the attack reset.
It's good, steady play, making every pass count. Offside in the circle. She holds a great space in there, Lennon.
Yeah, very, very strong, very clever.
Wow, very good rebound by Bowman there. She's going to need another one.
Sometimes those ones closer to post are a bit more tricky.
And so say all shooters out there. So Northern Ireland now sneaking ahead, 28 goals to Wales 21. We're into almost the last half minute of this game. Great play by Jones again, putting pressure on to win. Ball back. As we know in netball, 30 seconds is a long time.
30 seconds is a good 2-3 goals easily.
Row out the shooting circle.
Just a bit too much on that ball for Susie Drain.
Oh, Jones again, disrupting the flow of play in Northern Ireland. We're down to the last few seconds. Oh. And there we have it, half-time here, Perth, Scotland. We see Northern Ireland going in at half-time to take a lead, 28 goals to 21. That's quite significant at this stage, pulled ahead from the first quarter.
I think Wales will be slightly disappointed. I think they came out all guns blazing, and they certainly brought that gap down to 3, and they'll be disappointed it stretched back out to the 7 goal at the half-time.
So we've got 12-minute half-time here, so let's see what happens when the two teams come back in. I'm delighted now, though, to welcome into the commentary box a player, Rosie Pretorius, who is now head of performance at Welsh Netball, former Welsh international, went to the 2015 Netball World Cup. So, Rosie, you will know how important this is for all games. Welcome, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
What do you think of the game so far?
Wow. Very emotional sitting on the side there. It's really well contested. Both teams are just giving it all they have. You can really see how much both teams want it. I think they're both missing key players, which has made a difference in both squads actually. So it's really equal out there, and it's coming down to who's making the most errors. And at the moment, that is Wales. There's loads of turnovers, loads of opportunity, but the Welsh squad at the moment seem to be making their own errors, which is really disappointing.
So we know that Bethan Dyke was injured yesterday. She had a really key role in the match against Scotland. We were talking earlier that Northern Ireland without Lisa Bowman, who again player of the tournament at the Netball Europe Open in October. But yet, despite that, both of these teams are still playing really good quality netball. So if you were sitting on the Welsh bench now, what would you think the advice is going to be from Trish to her players?
I think it's just going back to what we know and what they know they can do. I mean, yesterday, the first 40 minutes of that match against Scotland just proved the quality and standard of netball that Welsh squad can play. So let's go back to that, go back to what our processes are. They know what they need to do. Just stick to the game plan. They've been instructed. They know they can do it. It's about pulling together now. There's been a couple of changes. It's getting used to those new units, having Susie on at wing attack and then bringing Fern Davis into the goal defence and switching Nia Jones across to wing defence. Slightly, different roles there. And I think just they've tried these combinations in training. I've seen them do it. They can do it. It's just believing in them now and just sticking to their structures.
So nothing that's really beyond the teams, and we know 7 sounds a big gap at this point, but actually it's 3 or 4 turnovers, and it's still all massively to play for. Do you think the enormity of the outcome of this game is playing on either of the two teams' minds, do you think, or is it just literally business as usual?
Yeah, I think when you're out on the court, it's just business as usual, doing your job on that court, and you're not really even thinking about the end result. You are just thinking about doing your job, making sure that you're getting those goals in, getting turnovers, realising when those critical points are, and just playing the game. I don't think it's really going to be affecting their gameplay at the moment. I mean, you would probably see that more in shooters, but shooting stats on the Welsh squad have been really high, and yeah, they've been performing well under pressure, the shooters.
And Northern Ireland, of course, first game this weekend. They came and watched the game between Wales and Scotland yesterday, so they'll have seen how that went. They've come out today, been pretty solid on the whole. The contested balls from both teams all the way down the court, it's quite phenomenal. And we've had 2 or 3 mistakes, which is really the only difference between these two sides at this moment in time. Northern Ireland, of course, as I say, without Lisa Bowman, but actually Nolene Lennon has stepped up there. The number of times I've seen her play goalkeeper, she's now down the other end. She's had a great game. Yeah,
multi-talented. She's very experienced, and I think that's Lisa again is very experienced, but Nolene is bringing that experience in, and she's just a real controlled player. She's got a great hold, and Kelly Morgan against her. They're very tight. They're very close. They're quite similar actually players. So it's a really good contest in there, but Nolene, she's just strong, very composed, and multi-talented, being able to play keeper and shooter. Wow.
We wish we all could do that, probably.
Yeah.
And when you've got a player like Nolene who plays a really good international defender, it comes down the other end. You can sometimes say the advantage of the shooters is they know what they're going to do, and the defender has to react. Do you think that will help her in this position, particularly with the quality of the skills between Morgan and herself?
Yeah, definitely. You've kind of got that sort of other side, that inside knowledge of exactly what that defender is going to do. And I think Kelly and Nolene would have been playing against each other for years and years as well.
They probably won't appreciate you saying it that much.
Yeah, years and years. Well, definitely over the last sort of 10 years they've been playing against each other. There's so much experience, and these teams have always been having close games historically. Ever since I can remember, it's been a 1, 2, 3 goal difference at the end. So it really is going to come down to the wire in these last 15 minutes.
And if we look at the world rankings for the 3 teams that are here, Wales are ranked 9th in the world, Northern Ireland 8th, and Scotland 11. And with England up at 3rd, that's a huge number of top-ranked teams in the world. And we know that one of you won't go. One of the 3 teams here this weekend won't go. And yet in one of the other World Cup qualifiers, Jerry and I were just talking, because of the way the rankings work, we have one region where teams that are ranked between 18 and 24, 3 teams will be competing for 2 places. So we will have at the World Netball Cup teams that are ranked potentially 20th in the world against the region here.
It's heartbreaking. I mean, one of these teams here this weekend will not be going, and that is the heartbreaking truth of how this setup and how this process is done for the World Cup qualifiers, and it's just absolutely heartbreaking. As an ex-player myself, and having played with these girls and played against these Northern Ireland girls, I know how much work they have to put into this and how committed and dedicated they are, and to not have that opportunity, even though they've worked so hard over the last 4 years to build their ranking. I mean, especially Northern Ireland, the way they've come up to 8th, we were 7th earlier on in the year, and that's the best world ranking Wales has ever had. But there's a possibility now that we will not be going to Liverpool next year, and it is heartbreaking, and something's got to change, because it can't be right.
There is a question mark, isn't there, over what does performance mean? Is it the pinnacle performance event every 4 years for the sport, or is it a kind of equality, let's have enough participation? And it seems to me we're at that critical tipping point where there needs to be clarity. And I think for all the investment that goes into sport, not just from the governing bodies, sports councils, governments, it's the commitment of volunteers, the people behind the scenes, because all 3 countries here absolutely rely on that volunteer base to make it happen. It just couldn't happen without them.
Massively. Like you're saying, the majority of the funding that supports these 3 teams is through government funding, and that will be massively affected and negatively affected when one of these teams doesn't qualify. That will affect the entire organisation. So it has huge ripple effects on the whole organisation, not just these senior teams.
So it's a huge event here this weekend. If we didn't feel the pressure already, we will do now. So as you can see, the teams are coming back in. So Rosa, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy the second half, if that's possible, with
not sure
what we
that.
understand is at stake. But enjoy the game, and thank you very much for joining me. And remember, those of you who are tuning in at home, you'll feel the tension as much as we do back here. Remember, send us your tweets and what you're thinking about the game, the issue around how the World Netball Cup people qualify for it. Does that feel right? Remember, have your say. #NENWCQ. Jerry and I are really keen to hear your views. Nats Pepperell saying, we're right, hope the INF are listening. I think we all hope that's the case. We're just talking to Rosie there, Jerry, about performance versus participation. When does it become performance if it's not at the top part of our sport?
There's a time and place for both. If we don't have a participation in our sport, then we'll never get the performance end. But certainly for me, we don't look for participation teams at a world stage event.
And I think there is a time and a place for making sure that all the teams in the world who play netball have the right level of competition, because that's essential to push all of the countries further. I think the debate's going to run. The next Congress, World Congress, will actually be in 2019 at Liverpool. All member countries have the opportunity to take papers to the board and for debate. It will be interesting to see whether anybody feels as strongly as we do in this region.
Absolutely, and we have to look at one point that may have been the right thing to do, but the progression in certain teams and squads around the world, we're in a different place now. Our review has to take place, so hopefully at Congress next year we will see some very interesting live debate going on, and maybe some new solutions coming forward.
Well, let's hope so. It's a member organisation, so the power is with our members, so let's see what happens. So as you can see, Northern Ireland and Wales are back out here in the sports hall, getting warmed up and ready to go again. Are we expecting any changes, do you think, Jerry?
I actually can see the benches from here. They're bibbed up and ready to go. We have got quite a few changes coming from Wales. I think we can see Kidner coming on to goalkeeper, and Nia Jones going back into the goal defence position. We see Llewellyn moving out onto wing attack. She's very good out in the wing attack position. Great vision, great feeding. We've both been speaking about that. And Carolee Mosley's coming off the bench onto goal attack,
which she did yesterday and did it quite effectively.
She did. Very experienced playing. She's been at Com Games, and it's really nice to see her back.
And it's good to see Lisa Bowman tweeting us from, presumably you're back home in Northern Ireland, Lisa. Sorry you're not here with us, but I think your team are doing you proud, and I'm sure you're cheering Northern Ireland on. So here we go, ball with the umpires ready to start. So Wales have run the changes, as Jerry has just been saying. It looks like Northern Ireland are pretty much unchanged. We'll get the official position through, but I think Northern Ireland are unchanged, and we've got some Welsh changes we've told you about. 7 goals in it, all to play for. Literally 3 turnovers, and
Yep, it's certainly not over. You know, Wales will not be going out of here without a fight. So yeah, let's see what the next 15 minutes brings.
they won't want to have come into that quarter and immediately lost their first centre pass. Kidner in at goalkeeper for Wales. Jones has dropped back to goal defence.
Yeah, she's really good at bringing the ball through, Nia Jones. You know, back player, circle defence, but you always see her up at the transfer. She's good backup for the attack players.
There's Rowe pulling one back for Wales off the Northern Ireland centre pass. They'll be pleased to immediately have responded positively, and again that vision by Llewellyn really effective. I think she's been player of the tournament for Netball Europe as well.
She has, and I've watched Llewellyn like most of us since, you know, she's been in the under-17 squad, and she's really developing into a senior athlete for the future. Really, really good strengths. Love how quickly she lets the ball go.
Good shot by Lennon. Interesting to see how quickly Northern Ireland settle with the new squad in front of them. I see Lola does a great job there. So we can confirm, as you heard earlier, Susie Drains dropped back to wing defence, Nia Jones goal defence, Sarah Llewellyn at wing attack, Kidner on at goalkeeper, and Caroline Mosley now goal attack for Wales. 7 goals in it. Northern Ireland bring the ball down. Kidner playing much stronger front position there.
Yeah, and I think that's certainly what Lennon's strength's been in the first half, so I think it's the right decision by Trish Wilcox to bring Kidner on just to change it up a little in there.
Another good shot by Lennon. I think actually we've seen in the tournament so far pretty effective shooting from all 3 teams. There's hardly anything to choose between them. Good win for Scotland yesterday, 95%. Missed 1 shot in the first quarter, 1 in the second, and that was it.
Yeah, it's
100% in the second half.
Really, really great to see so many good shooters. You know, we talked about Lisa Bowman, how effective she was back in October, and all the shooters here are really showing how it'd be done. Great role models for all these young players out there. And great to see Bethan Goodwin, 18 years of age for Scotland yesterday under such intense pressure, shooting at that percentage.
She was so super cool.
Super cool, yeah. I've known her since she was a toddler. She was at school with my son. Yeah.
Is that your claim to fame now, Jerry?
That's my son's claim to fame.
Great play there. Oh, unfortunate. Rowe didn't quite hold it.
Yeah, well, look how quickly the 3 Irish, you know, dresses around that loose ball.
We talked about the power of communication, the ability to live stream matches of this nature. That's a great interface between the 2 shooters there for Northern Ireland. But it does add an additional pressure, because players will know this is being live streamed literally around the world, and I think it just shows the professionalism of the sport, that they almost just turn off, they don't focus on that as much. But challenging for some of the younger players, perhaps?
Yeah, it certainly is. It's something I hope they're going to have to get used to. You know, game on game, we hope this happens just as a norm. That's part of the game moving forward. But yeah, it certainly is new for some of the older ones here, but fantastic to be able to bring this quality netball across the world.
So Northern Ireland 32, Wales 24. That's a great reverse turn there into Lennon under the post.
So efficient in her spatial awareness. You know, she's not taking huge strides. It's just a quick turn.
Of course, not only are we live streaming the game here, but we have support from our friends at the BBC, who are also taking the live stream. And we're grateful for that too and for your support, so please keep it coming. We really appreciate it.
That was a bit of a disappointing miss there from the Welsh pair. If Northern Ireland convert this goal, we're going with a 10-goal gap.
And Lennon takes the opportunity, and as you say, Jerry, 34 to Northern Ireland, 24 to Wales. 9.5 minutes left in this quarter. Wales really need to dig deep now.
That's a great defensive wall by Northern Ireland, forcing the ball back from the centre pass.
Lawler's putting on a huge amount of pressure. Her speed with moving around the player really is causing Rose some challenge in there. But Rowe got the rebound, keeps it to 10, the gap between these two teams.
Nia Jones was just trying to cut that feed in, but great awareness by Drain.
And great ball into Lennon. The goal counts, and the gap is 11. Rahel Jones. Brilliant ball. Timed that to perfection. She looked to give it earlier, but just held off as he drove there into the circle.
Yeah, good decision.
The gap's 10, although it's showing on the screen it's 11, so the score's Northern Ireland 37, Wales 26. We'll get that amended for you. Those who are keeping up the score will have seen this. There we go. Back to 10, 37, 27. Wales really need to make some inroads into this score in the last half of this third quarter.
We've seen that from Lennon a few times, just falling off the back line and off balance, but able to control and place the pass back to a teammate.
Wales really still fighting for every ball as you'd expect them to. I think we commented yesterday that we saw a slight difference between Scotland and Wales as we got into the later stages of the game in terms of what looked like physical fitness, physicality of the game. Probably not seen that quite as much today.
Yeah, I mean, certainly talk about the Scottish girls, they are highly conditioned at the moment, probably the best shape I've ever seen a Scotland squad, and that's all due to the support we get from the Scottish Institute of Sport and Sport Scotland. The girls they have a huge support team around them, and they are highly conditioned athletes, and that certainly brought them through to the end of that game yesterday.
So here come Northern Ireland again. Great vision by Hanlon. Lennon takes the lead to 11. 6 minutes to go. Oh, fantastic reading.
Great anticipation, she got it spot on.
Oh, and again, vision down the court. You can kind of just feel some of those visionary balls, the long going in, just raising the confidence of a team.
Absolutely.
So, first time, the gap's 12. Northern Ireland lead 40 goals, Wales 28, but a great turnover. Great shot by Mosley, taking responsibility in there as goal attack.
Yeah, and she certainly did a piece of work bringing the ball through for Wales. So Now Welsh centre pass, the score at 40, Northern Ireland 29 to Wales. Oh, and that's an excellent move by Carolee Mosen. Great vision in from Kyra Jones.
Follows it up with a great rebound and closes the gap to 10. Looks like we're going to Northern Ireland centre. If Wales can start to pull this back, if it got back into single figures, all of a sudden the pressure's on the Northern Ireland centre pass.
Absolutely. And that has to happen quite quickly now for Wales. They have to win some ball off Northern Ireland's centre pass.
But Bowman's not going to make it easy for them to do that. Oh, great play. Overlap between Moseley, creating space for Rowe under the post. 41 plays 31. Northern Ireland still in the lead here. And Lennon scores another one. 3 minutes to go into the final quarter break here. 42 plays 31. Oh. Good rebound there by Georgia Rowe. Puts it away, keeps them within contention of the 10 goals.
Yeah, so quite even play for the last 4 or 5 minutes here. Lennox still on centre pass, but just Wales not managing to make any inroads to narrow the deficit.
That's great quick play between Hanlon and Lennon. So Wales making a substitution, Kidner coming off. Kelly Morgan returning to the court.
And you see right away Kelly Morgan taking up the front position on Lennon, so I'm sure she's had some time to speak to the coaching staff and put some different options in there.
Good understanding there between the two. 44 plays 32. Perhaps slightly ambitious when 12 goals up. You don't really need to force the ball in. But again, great pressure by Northern Ireland defence. Turn the ball over. Lennon showing her effectiveness straight on there as a defender.
Her goalkeeper hat on there. Oh, that's a lovely fake pass in from Bowman to Lennon. Oh, and an uncharacteristic miss from Lennon and picked up by Morgan.
Oh, unfortunate for Rowe. It's just the quality of those last feeds down into the circle. And they've made a turnover, they're just not...
Yeah, just not able to capitalise on it and take it through to goal.
Just sense now, few errors both ends. You know, coaches are going to be wanting to get these players onto the bench. Less than a minute to go. I'm sure the message of keep calm will be coming from the Welsh team when we join them shortly. Remember, if you're watching at home, wherever you might be, tell us your thoughts on the game. Remember to use our hashtag NENWCQ, and we will give you a shout out. Great drive again by Moseley, taking the front ball. 44, 33, 11 goals. Can Wales use his last 10 seconds effectively? Whoops.
Kate Stevenson, the umpire, wisely holding time there so the clock doesn't run down with non-live play.
Ian Fuller as the substitute umpire there, almost needed a substitute. Both players bearing down on him at speed of knots. There's it. Oh. Unlucky for Northern Ireland, but there we go. We head into three-quarter time in this really important, tense game. We have Northern Ireland still with a commanding lead, 44 goals to Wales 33. We'll shortly be joining the Welsh bench, to hear what their coach is saying. But your thoughts so far, Jerry?
Yeah, it is very calm out there, Lynn, considering what's resting on this game. So I'm expecting huge, intense pressure in this last 15 minutes. As it stands, Wales are not going to the World Cup in Liverpool. They're not going to go down without a fight. Huge gap to pull that back 11 is a big ask in one quarter, but let's see how the first few minutes goes and we'll read it from there.
I mean, some of the players from both sides having a really good effect on the team, on the matches here. Hanlon's had a good game at centre for Northern Ireland, their captain. Replay there showing what Lennon's been doing effectively the whole of the game.
And we've seen that settled 7 from Northern Ireland. They're in their full.
So let's tune in now. Just here.
They're going to get tired. We've got to keep moving. We've got to be sure. Lift that up a little bit, okay? Red on possession for the six.
So we're watching the Welsh bench here, Jerry, just to see if there is going to be any changes coming out to this last game at all, to the last quarter here.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it at the moment.
You heard from the bench that the Welsh team was saying, keep moving, keep driving, keep trying to disrupt the Northern Ireland play.
Yeah, they've got to give multiple options. They'll not be looking to have only one option. The Northern Ireland team are shutting that down. So Trish Wilcox asking them all, give it your all now. Give multiple leads to the ball, multiple options, and keep that intensity up.
I mean, when you think about what this last quarter means to some of these players, so World Cup next year, some of the players are getting towards the mature end of their career.
Yep.
This literally could be the last 15 minutes, which is the difference between
Absolutely.
going to a World Cup and not ever getting to one.
Absolutely. Some of the players in all these squads will retire after next World Cup games once they take to that court. If you don't get that opportunity, it could be the end of your career today.
So it's still very, very tense. It almost feels too calm for what's at stake.
Very calm, very unusual.
Is that because Scotland's not playing, Jerry, do you think?
We don't have the Scottish crowd cheering in the background.
So here we go, back into this final quarter of the second match here at the Netball World Cup qualifiers. Northern Ireland take the first centre pass, leading 11 goals, 44 to 33.
I'm sure Elaine Rice has reiterated her chat to the Northern Ireland squad. Keep calm. They just need to keep possession and convert their centre pass.
So Wales have an opportunity to bring the ball down to close the gap by 1.
Nia Jones just trying to walk off an injury there. She took a bit of a knock when she stumbled over.
Drain now with the ball. Oh, that was an accidental fumble. I don't think she meant to do that. And there she is,
Disappointed
to
with that.
Lennon under the post. Well, it'll be disappointing after working hard to get that turnover.
Oh, that's a great take by Gemma Lawler. Great reading of the flow of flight of the ball.
And it just gives your team a boost, doesn't it? That energy, somebody makes a
Absolutely.
flying interception. I'd almost expect to see now, I was going to say Northern Ireland taking their time,
Yeah, you
keeping
would have
control.
expected that.
But what do we know about netball? So 12 goals in it.
Oh, Llewellyn backing into her player and just being called for that by the umpires, so Northern Ireland possession.
And they're going to work a better option.
Quick offload into Bowman.
Oh,
Crept
those are
in.
the ones. Just want to jump
Skip
up,
a
give it a little
heartbeat.
bit of a knock. So 46 plays 33. Northern Ireland centre pass. And they really could do without some of those unforced errors. I know it's not so much, you could argue, not quite so critical now, but tomorrow against Scotland,
Absolutely, you know, no matter what happens here tomorrow, it's a full-blown international test match happening tomorrow between Northern Ireland and Scotland. Whether they have both qualified or not, both will be out for the win, so unforced errors, not want to be seeing that.
and every game that we play internationally all adds up to your world ranking.
It
So
does indeed,
every single
yeah.
game counts. Every goal counts as
Every
well.
goal counts, yeah, every single one. So yeah, lots at stake tomorrow.
Oh, Jones read that really well.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I thought that from this angle, looked like a really nice take.
I think the umpire, Kate Stevens, saw her foot slip over
Yeah.
the line. Morgan putting on a huge amount of pressure. Interesting backing into the player by Jones there.
Very interesting.
So, Northern Ireland 47, Wales 33. Just over 11 minutes on the clock. Could we be seeing Wales' dream of
It's
Liverpool fading away now?
It's fading quite quickly here. You have to make some rapid inroads into this game in the next few minutes to, as you say, put that pressure on. If they get a couple of centre pass conversions and do a 4-goal turnover quickly, you know, there might be some errors creeping in from the Ireland squad or the pressure, but it has to happen soon.
So we've seen a Northern Ireland team who've remained consistent for the whole of the game.
So I
The
think we've
umpires
just, yeah.
held time there. I think she's had a word with Nia Jones. Perhaps that was the backing in point we mentioned
yeah,
earlier.
she did do exactly the same again there to Lennon off the ball, and Kate Stevens giving her a warning for that. Lennon
So-
running out of options there.
She was lucky to get away with that one. Good defence by Wales. Kelly Morgan's putting pressure on the ball. Unfortunate not to get away with
that one.
Keep that one clean.
Again, Lennon got that great hold in space.
And sinks that one. Northern Ireland creep closer to the 50 mark, 49-34. Just under 10 now remaining in this game. Great vision in there by Bowman. And there we go, 50 on the clock now for Northern Ireland. This is a big game for Northern Ireland. Back in October, so there was one goal between these two teams. I think it was 46-47, so
Yeah, and a few changes of personnel. We don't have Lisa Bowman here, we don't have Chelsea here for the Welsh team, so all credit to both.
Oh, great
Pressure.
position by Lawler there. Since Northern Ireland just recognising and keep possession. Credit to Wales, they're putting on a tremendous amount of pressure there.
Yeah, lots of hands over ball. They're really making Northern Ireland work for this, but they're keeping a cool, calm head.
Great shot by Kyla Bowman. 51 against Wales 34. Northern Ireland centre pass. So we won't be naming a player of the match officially here today, Jerry, but if you had to pick a couple of outstanding players.
I think Nolene Lennon has done a phenomenal job. She has just been consistent for not being her first choice position. I think she's won the battle in that circle. She's put the ball through the net consistently. I do think Kyra Jones is up to a game. Stepped up against Carolina Hanlon. That's no mean feat because she does lead that squad through from defence to attack, and Kyra has had a decent game against her. I do think they're missing Bethan Dyke, really powerful, strong player, so I hope she recovers really quickly.
Yeah, we wish you all the best, Bethan. I'm sure we'll see you back on the court again soon. So there's the views here from the commentating box. Some of the best players on the court. Do you agree, or do you think somebody else has been outstanding in your view? Let us know. Remember, hashtag NENWCQ. And we'll let people know your thoughts. Someone who has been very effective there through the game, Gemma Lawler, goalkeeper for Northern Ireland.
Yeah, she's given away quite a bit of height in there, but it's her experience and the speed and the angles she's using. We can see a few changes. The Northern Ireland squad running their bench now. They'll be looking to keep some wrists and legs for tomorrow.
I think that shows the confidence with a 16-goal gap. That 7 minutes remaining. They've got depth on the bench that they're prepared to bring out and
absolutely. We see
give a run through.
Yeah, young Michelle McGee been given the goal defence bib there.
She's a player we've seen come through the ranks for Northern Ireland.
Yeah, she's been great to watch, and it's lovely to see. It's a huge leap from squad to squad, from 17s to 21s to senior, and not all of them make it. And it's been really nice to watch her journey.
So Northern Ireland 52, Wales 37. Great shot again by Bowman. Jones has been instrumental in this game. Lawler kind of came, left the back exposed, and Georgia Rowe made no mistakes.
Yeah, and a player I probably should have mentioned when you were asking about influential players, Len Llewellyn has been fantastic for Wales. The ball she's put through, high work rate, great release of the ball. She's really worked very, very hard in both positions she's had the bib for today.
So does this feel like a 15-goal game to you, Jerry?
I think with Northern Ireland getting that 5-goal lead in the first quarter, that really set them up, and it has been, you know, if we're looking at 15 goals over the full game now, it's been slightly closer quarter on quarter, but yeah, it's not what I would have expected from the outset.
So Neve Woods on at wing defence for Northern Ireland. Michelle McGee, as you mentioned. Great shot by Georgia Rowe. 5 minutes remains here in Perth. It's a critical game, determining who will go to the Netball World Cup in Liverpool next year. So we see Bowman coming off. A couple more changes on the court. O'Hanlon taking to the bench, being instrumental as Northern Ireland captain. You can understand making the decisions.
Absolutely.
They want to keep their players fresh for a match tomorrow.
Absolutely, as we mentioned, you know, it is a world ranking match tomorrow and both teams will be going out to win it, irrespective of who would have been and is going to the World Cup.
So if the score in the next 4 minutes, which we probably argue will do so, stays with a Northern Ireland win, we know that both Northern Ireland and Scotland have made it through to the Netball World Cup, which is a huge achievement, but the loss that Wales are going to feel is going to be tremendous.
It's going to be very painful, and I've been there, obviously worked for Netball Scotland, we've been there. We did not make the World Cup in Singapore, and it is really, really tough. It takes a little time to recover from, and it's quite demoralising because these three teams here, as we mentioned, we merit certainly in performance and world rankings, should be in the world stage, and I feel for whoever misses out, and it at this point looks like Wales, so disappointing. You know, Northern Ireland will be delighted they missed out in Sydney, so it's, you know, their time to come back in the world stage, so congratulations. But
and I think it shows, as you're saying, the strength of depth in the region with these three teams, but also up and coming Ireland,
Absolutely.
who are beginning to push towards a top 15 place. England, consistent over many years, third, and will be challenging New Zealand and Australia this week in the Quad Series. South Africa up as well. I remember actually the World Championship qualifiers 4 years ago, which were in Kelvin Hall in Glasgow, when Scotland didn't qualify.
8 years ago, yeah.
That was 8 years ago,
Yeah.
and it almost took you 2 World Cup cycles to come back into it. So the impact, we cannot underestimate the impact on any
huge.
team that doesn't make it, and how
It's
long
huge,
it takes
yeah.
to come back in. And teams, these teams,
Yeah,
don't
it
deserve
affects your investment, it affects attracting sponsorship, you know, the work rate that everyone across, from not just the performance teams and the governing body, but the development staff, to the volunteers, to the workforce, to the clubs, everyone who's pulling and producing this quality will be affected by the outcome today.
So as it stands, with just over 2 minutes to go here at the Perth College, Northern Ireland are leading 55 goals to Wales 42. Wales, to their credit, have closed the gap a little bit in this game, but I think we would argue it's a little bit too late.
Just a
for
little
them.
bit too late, too much too late.
Running back on the court in attack. Backed into a player again. Both players out. So Crosby on there at goal attack. And Crosby, I think, is the sister of Finola Toner.
I believe so.
If we got that wrong, apologise to the two players now.
Talented family.
And of course, Michelle McGee is one of two. We've seen her sister on the court different times for Northern Ireland.
And the Bowman sisters.
And the Bowman sisters, goodness
Keeping it in
me.
the family.
So Northern Ireland bring the ball down with just a minute left on the clock now. 56-42 the score, 14 goal difference. Oh, great timing on a jump there by Lennon.
And great job by what you
Anything
can do. I can do.
I can do better. I was
Yeah,
going to say
good work,
exactly the
Kelly
same.
Morgan. And that just shows, you know, still fighting to the 60th second. The emotions, the mixed emotions we're going to see in the next minute on this court and from the stands it's really
Definitely.
difficult to put into words.
Yeah.
And
30 seconds to go before we say goodbye to Wales in terms of their Netball World Cup campaign. It just doesn't feel right.
it doesn't feel right, and you know, being part of one of the governing bodies, I know we're luckily going to have the elation. My heart just goes out. It's really, really tough to watch.
Oh, penalty pass, a shot. Is Lennon going to take it? She is. Oh. As you can see, Northern Ireland looking very pleased. So there we have it, the end of the second game here, and a really deciding one for Wales. Northern Ireland have beaten Wales 57 goals to 42. Good game in many senses. Wales will probably be disappointed, more so just with the game. This means that Liverpool is not an option for them.
Yeah, they will be disappointed. It's quite a substantial scoreline, so not what they would expected today, and certainly highly disappointed not to be in the world stage next year. You'll see the tears flowing. These players have put their heart and soul in over the years and months to get themselves there, and it's just hard to watch.
And what is so brilliant about this is we talk about it a lot in our region. We're competitive on the court, but off the court,
Absolutely.
we collaborate and work together for the betterment
Absolutely.
of netball as our sport. And to see these two teams know, and Northern Ireland knows how much this means to Wales, to go and embrace them in this way just shows the true camaraderie of what it means to be part of our fantastic sport.
Yeah, well said, Lynn.
So from us here in Perth, Scotland, we wish you a very good and rest of your Saturday afternoon. Northern Ireland have taken a deciding lead over Wales, 57 goals to 42, but all still to play for tomorrow, some ranking games at point. We now know that Northern Ireland and Scotland will be going to Liverpool next year for the Netball World Cup. Fortunately, Wales won't. But come and do join us tomorrow. The live streaming starts 5 minutes before the match at 12 o'clock. It's been a joy to have you here, Jerry. Thank you for your support.
Thanks,
and
Lynn.
we will wish you all as netballers a very good afternoon.